It's getting ready to start right now.
All right.
Here we go. Now let me record. Okay. Well, welcome everyone to Can We Chat here. My name is Sheila Abram, and I am joined by my co-host and by two other very, very special ladies in Karatbars tonight. But Miss Maxine Jones, you go ahead and say hello.
Well, good evening, Facebook family and friends. Welcome to Can We Chat here. As we always say, can we chat our dreams, our goals, our stories, and our journeys? And as always, we share information about different topics. And it's always our goal to bring content and value to our Facebook friends. Well, tonight's topic is called The Journey, Karatbars then and now. Woo-hoo! Can't wait. And we have with us the first ladies of Karatbars International, who have been on this journey since the beginning of this company. They are some of the top earners of the company, and they have been with Karatbars International from its inception of this phenomenal company. And they also have been connected with the CEO, Mr. Harold Sykes, from the beginning. So we'd like to welcome Ms. Cherylanne Gober, who we affectionately call Mama Bear, and Ms. Tammy Morrison. Welcome, ladies, to Can We Chat here. We are so excited to have you this evening. Woo-hoo.
Now, I want to give a quick disclaimer. Ms. Sherylanne Gober, she is just on with her mic. There's just some things going on, and she said no matter what, I'm going to keep my commitment and I'm going to be on Can We Chat here, but I'm going to have to do it by voice. And I said, we will take your lovely voice. Period.
We love it. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So welcome, Sherylanne. Can you just say hello to everyone?
Hello, everyone. It's good to be here. I hope my voice makes it through this tonight, but it's good to be here. You know I love you ladies and stuff. I can't wait to see you here in a month or so.
Yeah, it's coming fast. It's fast. Yep.
And Sheila owes me 2 hugs because I missed her in the same room at the last Let's Go weekend. So I have 2 hugs this time, Sheila.
Absolutely, absolutely.
She has to redeem those hugs.
Well, Maxine, why don't you go ahead and take Sherylanne first? We're going to try to make it as easy on her as possible today.
Okay. So my first question to you, Miss Sherylanne Gober, and this is going to be for you, Miss Tammy Morrison, as well. So many things have happened on this journey, and you were the first affiliate in the North American continent. What was that like, and what made you actually sign up or buy into this company, if at all? Was it something that you wanted to do right away, or how did it transpire?
Well, mine was a no. I did not want to do this. I had came home. I'd been home for 6 months after selling one of my businesses, and I wanted to do something. You know, the walls were closing in, but I didn't know what, and I knew that it wasn't Karatbars. And you know, my husband kept twisting my arm, and he kept on. And between he and Harold and a gentleman by the name of Jimmy Larson, they kept twisting my arm. And you know, they didn't have a prayer. I guess they did have a prayer in a way, because my husband knows. You know, God just show her the way. Well, I was praying to God, please don't send me to Nineveh with the Germans, please. You know. But long story short, my journey was a God thing. And I really did try to find every excuse in the world not to do this. And but somewhere along the way in those 3 months, I got a glimpse of Harold's heart and what he was really about as an individual. And that was part of the journey, but it was a God thing from day one. And no, it wasn't easy. I mean, we didn't have a website. We didn't have any gold. We didn't know nothing. It was a pie in the sky. There wasn't even a business for over a year. There was not even a business. It was, Harold was working with another guy partnering with him to bring this about, and it just wasn't working until he finally got frustrated and decided to just do it on his own. And, but in those beginnings, I remember Jimmy sent me a card, a 1 gram card in the mail. And that picture is my son's hand. He has no nails, fingernails. They were like down to the quick. He takes a picture holding the card so I can send a copy of it to Joe Norman and Boomer. And the next thing I know, that picture went viral. It's still out there everywhere with my son's pitiful fingernails, non-existent fingernails in that picture. That was the actual first piece of gold that crossed the U.S. shore and or shores into the United States. And from that time forward, it became real. And I remember Jimmy telling me in the beginning, Cheryl, until you hold it in your hand, you will not understand. But everything will change once you hold it in your hand. And he was so right. He was so right, because everything does change when you hold a piece of real 999.9
absolutely
pure gold in your hands. It changes. It does something to you. I don't know if it's an electrical current, but I do know that God was in the midst of it. So, but anyway, and then Tammy can tell you her side of it. And
you guys were truly trailblazers, I tell you that, because when you say that you had nothing, so you're trying to tell me there was no website, www.karatbars.com?
No, there wasn't even the name. In the beginning, his partner owned a refinery, and it was called KB Edemetal, which translated to KB Gold. Okay. And so a lot of people called us KB Gold before we were even a company. It was never KB Gold. Wow. It was just the refinery was that, and people picked up on the name, but the name was never there. When Harold decided to do it on his own, the actual company was called KB Vision. And as we started to grow and began to be the first, the largest 1 gram seller in the world, he's at this time trademarking our name, our logos, on an international level, and he finds out you cannot trademark initials. So he's like, okay, I got to have a name, KB, and Karatbars was born. So we went from KB Vision to Karatbars, but there was never really a KB Gold, and people don't realize that. It was never a company. So, but anyway, in the beginning, I told Tammy to keep her mouth shut.
No, Tammy, you don't have to keep your mouth shut. So how was the beginning for you, Miss Tammy Morrison?
It was scary. I've done this type of business about 12 different times before. So I failed 12 different times. And but I had been in business with Cherylanne's husband in the automotive industry. So I knew him, but I didn't know her yet. And, God sent me a sister, and I was so very happy to get this sister. And, Britt called me. I was coming home from work one day, and I knew that the bottom was about to drop out at work, because we just had a huge conference call. We laid off half our sales staff. I was the national sales trainer. So who am I going to train if we're laying off the staff, right? Mm-hmm. So I knew it was about to go down. And Britt called me and asked me a very simple question. If I asked you to save a gram of gold a month, would you? And I said, absolutely. And he said, okay, I'll call you back. And I'm like, wait, what? Tell me more. Tell me more. And there was really nothing to tell. We started out, just with our warm market and talking to people that we knew, even though Cherylanne did tell me, no, don't talk to anybody, because we got to get this guy figured out first. We got to check this company out. And we were really just building this on an Excel spreadsheet. We were putting down and we were building deep. If you want to cut in here, Cherylanne, feel free. We were building deep, not wide.
I still have the spreadsheet.
I do too. I have it. I'll bring it to Let's Go Weekend.
That should go on the Karatbars Wall of Fame.
Yeah, that should be framed. You need to frame that.
And we were, you know, when you join Karatbars, you get that email, welcome to Karatbars. We were manually copying and pasting, changing the username, changing the sponsor name, and sending those out to people. Then we would send one to the sponsor. You have a new partner in our downline, because we were putting these people in. They weren't putting them in. We were just building deep. And then
we made up a company. We just we just made it what we thought it ought to be. But it wasn't.
You didn't have a massive action plan?
No. Yeah, but you know, and Tammy just said something that I hope people really heard, because so many people try to make this so much harder than what it really is. Mm-hmm. And I promise you've got people in your circles, you know, in that inner circle that you can call up right now, not have to say anything. Mm-hmm. And we're doing too much talking. We're doing too much selling. You don't have to sell this program. It only makes sense. But all you need to say in your little inner circle, Maxine, I know you got these people. I know how much people love you. And if you just call them up and said, if I ask you to save a gram of gold a month, would you? And what would you say? And just keep it simple. But why do we make this so hard? That's the big question, is why do we make this harder than what it really is? And you can see what happened. You see what happened. I told Tammy to be quiet. Let me check. I'm sending people to Germany to check him out in this refinery, and Tammy's sitting there going, "Don't tell Cheryl I told you." And this kept going, and I'm like, and then somebody else had called me, and I'm like, Tammy's not supposed to tell somebody.
Never tell a human being to say it.
I kept repeating this thing, let me check him out. Nobody's sending money. I mean, for a year, I said, nobody sends money until I know everything. It wasn't a year, actually, but I did send a guy over there to check him out and look at him. He was offshore banking and specialist, and he knew about precious metals, and he was crazier than a loon. But he got over there, and he actually called me while he was there, and he went in really negative to try to really disprove everything. And I remember the night that he called me, and he said, Cheryl, hair is standing up on the back of my neck. Wow. And because it was a God thing. You can't forget the little things, because they are the main thing. The little thing is the main thing. Mm-hmm. And I believe that since its very inception, it's about God's heart to the people. Mm-hmm. And he chose Harold as the vessel that would bring it forward. And Harold has always kept the purity of heart and for the people, out there front and center. Y'all know, you've been around him. He has the biggest heart. Mm-hmm. And I remember telling him a long time ago, Harold and I've told him this so many times, as long as your heart remains pure, this company will thrive. If you ever get greedy, it's over. Mm-hmm. So thank God we're still thriving, and it's still his passion to change people's lives with gold. And it's happening. Y'all have seen it happen. I've seen it happen. Mm-hmm. And I hope everybody out there witnessing and watching, and it's part of the Karatbars, that everybody can say that they've seen lives changed, and especially their own life changed through Karatbars, if nothing else, through the education about what real money is, and where they look at money differently, and they understand the power of saving in gold and building, generational legacies for their family. Mm-hmm. And so we are changing the world. We're changing mindsets and what's real. And instead of basing everything on temporal things like that new big screen TV that's going to go bust in about 3 years, or, you know, that's where we keep putting our money, robbing Peter to pay Paul to get all of that stuff. But in Karatbars, we do it differently. We get excited about saving and stacking, right? We stack. And anyway, it's a great family to be a part of, and everybody ought to join just for the family, period.
Absolutely.
You know, and I think, you know, even though Can We Chat here, we love to talk about, you know, relevant topics. And for a lot of affiliates, even new affiliates, just the nugget you gave us right now, for somebody brand new coming in saying, how do I get people to either save gold or see this thing? Well, for one thing, if you just, the question you said, listen, Tammy, if I asked you to save $1 gram of gold a month, would you?
Absolutely.
Most of your friends are going to always tell you yes, even if they don't want to. But if you ask them, if I would you, most of them will. And that's just one of those back to basic things that I had not even thought about.
You made it about them.
I love the simplicity of it.
It was about them.
Because I can remember Boomer, Dan Giramo, for those of you that don't know, Big Boomer, he would pick up the phone and say, hey, listen, if I asked you to save $1 gram of gold, would you? Boom. You know, and that's so simplistic.
The simplicity of it is great. It is. I was going to ask you, how did you prospect back then? And that is exactly how you prospected back then. That's how you sponsored people, asking them to save $1 gram of gold. Simply.
You made it about.
That's all we had. And we didn't even really have that. We didn't have a pay plan. So we really didn't know. There were no business packages.
Yeah, that wasn't
there weren't any business packages.
Okay,
there wasn't a pay plan. There wasn't a credit. There wasn't a way to pay in or pay out.
So you
first.
You truly had to have, people were truly joining on faith. You know, with no business
name on a spreadsheet.
Yeah, no gold. Just look, get positioned, get involved, and we'll let you know when we're turning on the on switch. Now that's incredible.
Yeah, but here's the thing, like Tammy said, we were building deep. Nobody even knew what the pay plan was going to be. Wow. You know, I gave away hundreds of referrals that went straight down my big leg.
Wow.
You know, Tammy did the same thing. We were just building and building and building and didn't have a clue what we were doing. And all these MLM people would come in, go, you know, what kind of stuff? We don't know. Just put your name down. You know, we'll figure that out later. I mean, seriously.
Ask you that. You're answering my next question. What were some of the challenges that you faced when you well, we don't want to call them the pioneer days, but what were some of the challenges that you faced?
It was blind faith. It was, you know, challenges. We had Jimmy Larson that did a webinar every Tuesday that everybody clung to. And we called him Jimmy 2 weeks because he kept saying 2 weeks, 2 weeks, and 2 weeks. And we now refer to that as German 2 weeks because the German 2 weeks is about 2 years. A German 2 minutes is 2 weeks. And so it's, anyway, it's funny. Even at corporate, they laugh about it. What's German time, Cheryl? It's not U.S. time, it's German time. But challenges was, the first one was everybody wanted to see the gold, see if it was real. And of course, we had the picture and that we put around, you know, then a few more grams got sent out. And so that was probably the first challenge, I think, Tammy, was everybody seeing the gold and us trying to say, when, you know, everybody calling, when you going to launch? When you going to launch? I don't know. When they get a business, you know, when they get a business established, that'll be a good sign. But the first, Les Caffey, I'll bring him up. He was one of our pioneer affiliates. His name's Les Caffey. You know, prayers out for him right now. He's had a rough road the last couple of years with a brain tumor. He is pretty much non-functional right now, but Les was actually the one that bought the first gram of gold through the company. When we came online, Harold had PayPal, you know, because he didn't have, everybody was pushing and just driving us insane about when are we going to start? We got to launch, and you know how impatient affiliates can be, right? About wanting stuff yesterday because we're in the land of instant. And Harold said, okay, I'll open it up. And he said, but the pay-in feature's not there yet with the credit cards. And we didn't have the merchant account. So he decided he had a PayPal account. He'd do it that way. Well, little did we know that the fee was over 9.5% with PayPal for international transactions.
That's steep.
It was steep. And so then we had to listen to that from those affiliates that couldn't stand it and kept pushing to open. Then they didn't like the 9.5% fee. Well, so much money kept coming in anyway that PayPal shut Harold down. But what they didn't know is Harold had another PayPal account. And it got shut down. And then he got somebody else's PayPal account. So we actually went through 3 PayPal accounts, and they froze all the money and everything. And thank goodness Harold had some in his back pocket to front it and everything. But they froze the money in the PayPal accounts. He went through 3 PayPal accounts before we got the merchant line online. But it was enough to buy us time to get the merchant center online. And, and then it was still international purchases and everything. But, through all of it, all of those crazy days, and we've had challenges from the cards having bubbles in them to everything. And Murphy has been with us since day one. Everything that could go wrong has went wrong, but he never knew Harold's sights because the man is relentless. Don't tell him no. I think that's why we get along so well. Me coming from the country, don't tell me no. You can you can tell me a lot of things, but don't tell me no, because I'm going to show you, yes, I will. And I think Harold and I have that in common. But Harold's relentless. He wasn't listening to the no's. He knew what he wanted to do. He put his nose to the grind. And if more people were like him, like that, because if you have a goal and you put your nose down and you stay focused, and like he says, you don't go left, you don't go right, just keep going forward, you're going to achieve great things in life. But most of us get sidetracked on tangents like Murphy over here, because Murphy's trying to pull you off your game constantly through little glitches here or there. And at the end of the day, that's all it is a little glitch. I can tell you stories where I thought it was over, and Harold just kept going. He's like Mr. Magoo with his ears. He just didn't hear. Mr. Magoo couldn't see. Harold couldn't hear. He just kept moving forward. He didn't care what everybody else said. He was going to make it happen with or without you. And if you get caught up on the tangents and the what ifs and this isn't work and this isn't work, you're going to miss your dreams.
Yes.
You cannot go there. You will never achieve the greatness that you were called to be a part of if you let those things take control over your life. So now I tell people I've got the luxury of being around all this time, that everything Harold said that he was going to do, he does. Now he may get slowed down, he may get, this nightmare might happen, or bubbles might show up on the cards, and he stopped sending them out for 3 months, go deliveries out for 3 months. I mean, all kinds of crazy things could happen, but you can't lose focus of the goals that you have set for yourself. There's been times that I wanted to quit. I mean, let's be real. We're here to talk, right?
Yes, and that was a question we were going to ask. And
there are days.
We want to hear this, but I want to let you know one thing. Mr. Harold Sykes is on our Facebook watching right now. He's watching and listening. So go right ahead and tell us about the times when you wanted to quit.
Well,
or got stuck.
Well, it was, Harold, I told him about the PayPal nightmares in the beginning and how you went through all the PayPal accounts you had, and before we got the credit card system. But no, there were times that it was, that we would run into challenges where the cards that were being produced would have bubbles on them, and they would come out, and then people were complaining about our cards and our product had bubbles. Well, if you know Harold, everything has to be perfect, right? So Harold said, okay, no more cards and no more shipping until we get this fixed. And so a month goes by and people are like, where's my gold? Where's my gold? Where's my gold? Harold's not shipping the gold. 2 months go by, Harold's still not shipping gold. Now I've got people screaming, you know, you're a scam, you're this, you're that. We want our gold. They're demanding their gold. They're screaming. We're trying to tell them that the laminate, you know, like when it goes up in the airplane and comes down and sits on a hot tarmac and it's been cold. And it was the laminate was the problem. We had 3 refineries and we were testing, you know, Harold's got all 3 refineries trying to figure out why the laminate was bubbling. And while they're trying to figure it out, he starts his little journey to find out what is the best laminate in the country, you know, what is the best laminate period. So he finds this laminate, this specialized laminate, and they guaranteed no bubbles. So they proved it to their system works. So what does he do? He buys all the equipment, brings it into the office one day, and he says, I'll never be held hostage by another third party again. Now, for those of you that were around that time, the specialty cards or the privately branded cards, you had to put up $3,999 for the setup fee for a privately branded card with a minimum order of 50 1-gram bars. Well, through all of that frustration and the cards not going out, I'm literally begging Harold, send the gold out. It don't matter if it's got bubbles. You got to send it. And Harold's like, nope, nope. And there were days I wanted to hide my head and not answer the phone because Harold wasn't sending the gold out. But Harold knew what his vision was. Mm-hmm. And it was very clear to him to have a product that was something we could all be proud of. He didn't want to send out a second-class product. It had to be something that would make us all proud. And so while they're sitting there trying to figure it out, and they've still not figured it out, by the way, you can get some from any other of our competitors, and their stuff's going to bubble, by the way. And just like ours did, but Harold, that was not good enough. He went and got the best and brought it in-house. But the beauty of all of that was the fact that now that we got this stuff in-house, now you can have your face put on a Karatbar with the gold and shipped to your house for less than $20, $25, set up everything fee. All right, there, yours, you know. And so when you talk about things that happened and the challenges that came, I can give you what was going on at the time, and then I can give you the final result. Mm-hmm. The final result was always better than what we'd planned in the beginning. So somewhere along the line, and you keep seeing this, you have to know and you have to have faith, because since the beginning, this company has been divinely inspired and it's been protected. Mm-hmm. And everything works out not just good, but better than what we had planned. Whoever thought we would be going into crypto and looking at what we're looking at in July? Whoever thought that last February, March, April, when we were getting those KBC coins, and Harold said, okay, 10,000 coins to 1 Unival. We were excited about that, right? Little did we know a few months later, he's going to come up and say, okay, 100 coins to 1 gram of gold. Mm. That's what this journey's been like. So even when you see issues, my 35% bonus is not there yet, I haven't got all my coins yet, you know, blah, 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 I got double this, you know, go ahead and stay focused on that. Because if you do, you will never realize the greatness of what you have in front of you. Do not let that stuff sidetrack you. Yes. Have faith. There's other people here. It's not just me. There are thousands of people within Karatbars that's going to tell you the same thing. Just breathe. Just breathe. Because they always figure it out. You know? But, you know, be that spirit that just keeps moving forward, because that's where greatness is at.
Can we ask Tammy that same question? What was the question, Maxine? How did you word it?
Yeah, where there were Did you ever feel stuck or discouraged during the whole course of this journey? You know, we look at both of you as, you know, you've arrived, but it was a journey to get to where you are. So did you ever feel discouraged at any time or just felt stuck, as sometimes affiliates feel?
Absolutely. You know, and you guys know, and I have to give credit to Cherylanne because, you know, when I finally did get laid off, you know, that's kind of when we started this whole thing and I had a lot of time on my hands. But, you know, the severance package only lasts so long. Mm-hmm. And so when that money started to run out, I had to start looking for a job. And she stuck with it the entire time. She never wavered, you know, and when we finally launched a year or so after we started not telling anyone, you know, we only had the level plan in place, but I'm working at this job making like 30 grand a year.
And we're going to get rich.
Yeah, we're going to get rich. And
we're going to get rich.
The unilevel was 34 euro. And talk about a punch in the gut. It was like, are you kidding me? And so, you know,
it was after a year's work.
After a year of not sleeping, not eating, not doing anything. So, you know, I had finally gotten a good corporate job again. And Sherylanne calls me one day. This was, I think it was May or June of 2013, Sherylanne. And I just want to thank her publicly for thinking enough of me and loving me enough, even though I had to take a couple of years because I had to make money for the family, right? But she stuck it out. She's the trooper. She's my hero. And she thought enough about me and loved me enough to call me and say, come back. Nothing else matters. Get a package. And, you know, we all know the story of how I had to hide it from my husband and all those things. But, you know, that first year was just, you know, 2013, it was only about 6 months full time. But, you know, from the day I came back until I fired corporate America was about 4 months. Michael Delco's got me beat by about 17 days, but it was about 4 months. And I probably could have done it earlier, but I was scared, you know, because I'd never been successful in anything. But I realized, and Michael talked about this on the call last night. He said, I thought to myself, if I'm giving this much time at my job, what if I could give this much time to Karatbars? And so 2013 was a tremendous year. It was the year I met Harold Seitz. I got to see what Sherylanne saw, his heart for the people. And it was just an amazing time. 2014, 15, 2016 came along and it was slowed down a bit. And things kind of got a little hairy. And I called Sherylanne one day and I said, should I go get a job? You know, what's going on? Because I'm not psychologically unemployable. I don't know how to work for somebody else anymore because, you know, in this year will be my 6th year full time. Okay. And so she told me, she said, just keep digging because, you know, we all have two teams, right? And I've got this right team and then this left team, and my left team had been raided 5 different times. And I'm talking about taking everybody with them. So I've got to start building again. And so 5 different times. And that 5th time in 2016, you know, it was heartbreaking, especially for, you know, the person that did it, because he was like my brother. And it was just, you know, it was just a hard time. And I was like, you know, I got to make this work. And she never gave up on me. And, you know, I love her so much for that because she's never given up on me. She's, as she says, her quote, love people to success. And that's what she's done for me. And I could not be more thankful to have the greatest sponsor in the world. You know, I wouldn't be where I am without her. So thank you. I'm going to tear up.
I want to kind of flip the script just a little bit because, you know, you stuck it, you hung in there, you regrouped, you started growing the team again. Everything was smooth sailing with the gold, with the cash. Gold was even introduced. We had auto exchange. Karatbars was rolling. And all of a sudden, Mr. Harold Seitz said, we're going to launch a cryptocurrency. Can you tell me, I'll start with you, Cherylanne, what were your initial thoughts with that?
Well, he actually told me in November.
So you knew way before we did. Of course
and
you
I'm like, I looked at him and we were in Vegas. I remember we were sitting at a card table And he was sitting behind me, and I'm like, have you lost your mind? I said, Harold,
I do it.
all these years pitching against Bitcoin and the fakeness, the fake system, and now you're accepting Bitcoin. I don't understand, Harold. And he said, you know, Harold has told me, he's came out with a statement to me 3 different times in the last 9 years. And one of them was in the very beginning. He said, just trust me.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And there was just something about the way he said, trust me, that I went, okay, he's got my number, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the second time he did it was in November. And he was telling me about the crypto side. Well, no, second time he did it was when we went into the dual team. Because let me tell you, the unilevel was not cutting it. You know, it was not cutting it at all. We had a lot of talented people, a lot of, you know, loyal Karatbars people that loved the company, loved the product. Everything was great, but we weren't making a lot of money. And Harold said, trust me. And he came and he developed. And that was in September of 2012. That he brought out the dual team system. So I learned when I trusted him, good things happened, right? Because I love the dual team. And then the third time was in November. And he told me about the crypto, and I really thought he bumped his head. I really did. I'm like, Harold, you know, we've had a bad year, but now you're getting desperate. You know. And we didn't talk about it a whole lot until January when we were in Vegas at that time. And we were sitting there, and he starts telling me about what's going on and what he had accomplished since November. And he was going to announce it at that meeting in Vegas. And I'm sitting there going, okay, well, and he said, trust me. So here we go again, because he knows those 3, you know, trust me, Cherylanne. Those 3 words kind of put me on my back seat, you know. And I did, and it's been amazing, absolutely amazing to watch. I came in kicking and screaming.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not 16, I'm not 20, and I'm not 30 anymore. And you know, you're not supposed to teach old dogs new tricks, right? And I didn't want to learn this business. So there was, you know, I did not want to learn this business that I had been so opposed to for so long. But when I saw his vision, it went ding, 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 ding. The bells went off, because everything that system was not, Harold provided a solution with Karatbars to make it what it should be. And it's something that's real. I can't put a Bitcoin in my hand and go snuggle it up at night and, you know, with it. I can't. But with my KBC, my KCBs, and all of that stuff with the gold backing, I can convert that to gold and have something physical in my hand. This has never been done before in this industry. Never. Everything else is a business. This is another thing people miss about what we're doing. All of those other coins, some of them are great ideas, great business plans. They get people backing them. They bring the money in through the ICOs and everything. And then they go after the customers, right? To use their coins as a utility or whatever. Karatbars does everything backwards. We had it all. We had the answer for the crypto world. Harold had already created it. So only thing he did was enhance the crypto world, period. Because we already had a customer base. We had a built-in customer base. We set records with the KBC. Almost 8 billion coins in a 2-month period. Why? Because we've got a loyal group of customers, teammate, family within our Karatbars organization. We're going to make it happen together. You know, if Harold puts it out there, we're going to make it happen. He's always been there for us, and we always come through for him. And that's the magic of Karatbars. And what we got here, nobody else can do what's being done right here. We've got the customers, the loyalty. We've got a physical product that we can count on that's been around for 6,000 years. It's still the power of gold. We just kryptonized gold. is all we did to make it possible for it to be a payment system worldwide, beyond borders, without all the craziness and fees and people telling you that you can't spend your money. Like go try to wire some of money and listen to all the garbage you get from the banks and stuff. This is beyond borders. It's your money and it's universal. I mean, it's a perfect system in my mind. Perfect.
Tammy, can I ask you that same question? When you heard that we were now going to launch a gold-backed cryptocurrency, what was your initial reaction to it?
I kind of looked at Cherylanne and said, what? What are we doing? We're a gold company. Why would the heck would we bring crypto into this whole space? It doesn't belong here. And, at the time, I didn't really understand it. I've been to a couple of meetings where I walk in thinking I know more about Karatbars than most people do. And I walk out thinking, oh, what just happened? My head's spinning around. Like the Frankfurt was one, Las Vegas was one. The Frankfurt meeting, just introducing, the phone and the voice over blockchain and the our blockchain and the exchange and this and that. And I'm just like sitting there going, my head cannot hold all of this information. So, for those people that are out there that may right now feel a little bit lost, don't worry, I'm lost too. It's okay. We'll get through it together. But it was a little shocking, but I know that we have some really smart people on this team. And I know that everything that Harold does, he does for the good of the people. And I know that whatever he does it with love for us. So we're just, we're still gonna run with it. What else are you going to do? You're not going to say, no, I'm not getting into this cryptocurrency thing. So just really glad I said yes. And okay. So this is the next step. Let's go learn this now.
Well, it's interesting. My son, Stephen, and I were at the Freedom Celebration in Las Vegas, and we were sitting at one of the tables kind of close to the front. And when Harold Sykes announced the cryptocurrency and he had the PowerPoint going on, I remember it was like a delayed reaction because I'm like, wait, he said what? I looked at my son and I said, wait, did he say a cryptocurrency? And my son was like, yeah. And I was like, huh.
I thought we were a gold company.
I know. And I tell you, this has been one of the best learning journeys for me last year, especially we're dealing with a large amount of affiliates here at Wealth Builders Worldwide. And there were some necessary things we had to do with Karat Pay, and then it was Karat Bank IO, and then it was Karat Gold IO. We had so many things, so many steps they had to do just to purchase the coin and the training aspect of it, because my whole thing is I didn't want to leave anybody I knew behind. And we have a lot of people that love gold, and the ease that Karatbars makes it for you to have, acquire your gold, have it shipped to you or have it stored for free, no brainer. It's as easy as ordering something on Amazon. But now dealing with the cryptocurrency world, that was a different ball of wax. So, my task was, I looked at my son, I said, okay, you need to learn this. And you need to teach me how to train people to do these steps. So I want to say it was a lot of kind of stress there for a minute until we kind of got the system down packed on how to work with people. And what I love is Harold Sykes and the team has gone to the next step with our cryptocurrency and our exchange, because we are dealing with a lot of people that their knowledge level is just not there, even with the protection of their private keys, with the protection of the things that they need to be successful on our exchange. We're taking it a step further, saying, okay, you know what? forget some of the other stuff. Our exchange is secure. The truth of the matter is, like Ovidio said, the coins aren't actually stored there. You know, that's just a platform. They're not there. So it's very safe. And now people, when we sign someone up and we open up their Karatbit account, they can use that wallet, that deposit wallet for their coins, and it's game over at that point. No extra things to do.
It's so nice.
You know, Sheila, too, what's so great about the cryptocurrency is that it's helping other countries that were not able to get the gold ship. That made a big difference. That was a game changer right there. Where, you know, and now we're up to what, 136 countries and still growing. That was a game changer as far as the cryptocurrency being able to infiltrate any country whatsoever. Absolutely. Mr. Harold Sykes, his integrity, his vision, his heart, you have shared Ms. Tammy Morrison and Ms. Cherylanne Gober, we know, but to trust this gentleman and this company, the integrity of this company is beyond measure, really, absolutely beyond measure. And
it is.
All he wants to do is help people. The mission of his heart is to help people.
Well,
It is.
Cherylanne,
And we make a stumbling block, but just hang on, he'll figure it out.
we would like to hear some closing words from you, Cherylanne, because Can We Chat here? Boom, we're in and out within an hour because I have a new affiliate orientation at 7 my time, which is 10
our time
and 9 your time. Cherylanne, would you love to just give us some parting words from you?
Well, just keep sight of your goals as an individual for you and your family. You know, what is your why? Never forget what your why is. And don't let all the noise along the way take you away from your why. Because there's always somebody trying to steal your dream. Don't let it happen. Don't let it. If you stay focused, nose down, straight ahead, get rid of the noise, you're going to wake up one day. I used to tell Roger Williams this. Roger, if you could see yourself where I see you 5 years from now, you would be, I mean, he is already something else, but he wouldn't be able to stand himself if he could see where I knew he was going to be in 5 years. And if everybody will just remember that, Tammy and I've been there. You know, you ladies have been there. You've watched this happen for so many people. And get rid of the noise. If your 35% hasn't bounced in there yet, it's okay. They're still working over there 20 hours a day. It'll get there. Have faith, have some patience, get rid of the noise, nose down, no left, no right, keep moving straight ahead. And you're going to wake up one day, not too far in the distant future, and your whole world has changed. And it's not just July 4th. You know, we've got another guarantee for January, 75 coins to 1 gram of gold. You know, the good news is I don't need anything that special between now and July, and probably January. So I know what Harold's goal is 1 to 1. I don't know that we'll ever reach that goal. And you know what? It really doesn't matter to me because July 4th was more than enough. But it wasn't more than enough for him. He wants greater for you. So that's my parting words. Let's just stay down. It's an incredible company. The leadership, you know, at our corporate offices, the team that Harold's put around him, they're incredible people. And we're going to get there. But just remember, we're doing something that's never been done before. And sometimes, you know, we might get a delay, but just chill out. We're going to get there. But we get there together.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Back to you.
Ms. Tammy Morrison, any closing words from you?
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody because, you know, Sheila, when it came time for getting all that stuff done, you stepped right up to the plate and we did those training calls. We were just flat out in demand, right? And so we, you know, but all of you understand how much we are a family. I have never been involved with a group of people that I absolutely love. I mean, and as Cherylanne said earlier, it's just for the family alone would be worth it, just to be in the family. And, you know, I've gotten to meet so many people, make so many new friends, and so many faces, and love putting faces to names. You know, I got to go to South Africa this past August, early September, and just people were walking up to me and they were saying their first name, and then I would say their last name. And they were like, well, that's right. And, you know, because I talk to them all the time on Skype and the internet, and just know that we're here. We've been through the trenches, Cherylanne more than I, but we've been through so much. And as long as we just kept, as she said, just keep pushing and just stay straight. As Mr. Sight says all the time, stay straight. So if you just do that and realize that we are with the absolute best company in the world, and I wouldn't want to be on this journey with anyone else but you guys and our future Karatbars members. So thank you guys so much for just filling my heart with love. And I can't wait to see you guys in Atlanta.
Well, I want to thank you for being on Can We Chat here, Mama Bear and Baby Bear. It has been our absolute pleasure. We'll have to have you on again, but it's been our honor to have you on Can We Chat here. And Cherylanne said, you know, just keep going. And I'll just have to add what Mr. Tybeth says, guys, always have fun with it. You know, sometimes we take it a little bit too serious. Have a little fun with it as well. So for our Facebook friends, tune in to the first Monday of April to Can We Chat here, 6 p.m. Pacific time and 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You know, we'll have an interesting topic for you. We're already working on it, so it'll be a nice surprise. And if you have some suggestions, please put it on canwechathere.info. Yes. But it's been our honor and pleasure, ladies. We love you. We can't wait to see you. Absolutely. And let's go weekend 8.
If I ask you to buy a gram of gold, just 1 gram of gold for a month, every month, would you do so, Maxine?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, let's do it. So everybody on this call, let's go get about 1 gram of gold this month.
You know what? Let's do an official challenge. You know, everybody that's watching this video.
Yes.
Let's get on our telephone.
1 gram.
Up the phone. That's one thing that Boomer was real big on. Picking up the physical phone. Wow. You know, we want to just text, hey, Jim, if I would you. Right. But pick up the phone. People are telling you no that you know if you're talking to them in person.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't want you to know they can't afford 40 euro for cash gold. You know, they don't want you to know that. So let's take up a challenge. You know, all of our teams on Facebook, all of our and make sure you get a gram of gold, because Cherylanne is asking. I'm saying yes, I will. I have this. Yes. I get it weekly, but I'm gonna get an extra gram just because of the challenge. So everyone have
a challenge out there.
Right.
Take up the challenge.
If I asked you to get a gram of gold, would you? Let's go. So everyone, let's get ready for the new affiliate orientation right here on the platform. And thank you, Cherylanne. Feel better. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you.
Love you.
Love you. See you in Atlanta.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.